All right, class, let's jump right into the PowerPoint here. And I'll show you a map of Cortez sailing from Cuba, where he originated, and kind of bouncing into Mexico and central Mexico. Something that is really sort of interesting here is you see this kind of hitting Cozumel and then kind of jumping down around into Tabasco. Your book says, I just think this is kind of cool that he's avoiding the Maya because the previous contact with the Maya has not been good, and so he's just trying to dip right around them, which I find kind of cool. So what do they pick up important in Tabasco? This woman here, La Malinche or Malinche, she is made a part of Cortez's group after some conflicts with the people in Tabasco, and she's a really kind of what do I want to say, like phosphoristic, if you'll allow me, figure in Mexico, in modern Mexican idealhood. Is she traitor? Is she mother? All of this kind of different thing. I'll post a little short article about kind of her story in the module. So Cortez first really, after moving inroads from Tabasco, encounters the Tlaxcalans and decimates them, and is able to convince them to sort of ally with him against the against the Aztecs. And let's remember that the Tlaxcalans never become part of the empire, right? You see here a lienzo from Tlaxcala showing the Spaniards' arrival. And a lienzo is not really a codex. It instead is a large painted canvas, and many towns in Mexico have a lienzo that tells important parts of their city's history. And it even depicts the attack upon Tenochtitlan and the siege there, which we'll eventually get to. Interestingly, the Tlaxcalans stayed allied with the Spanish for quite a while, at least in the kind of short-term consideration of things. The Spanish brought them all the way up to New Mexico to fight the Zuni in the 1530s. So I think it's kind of interesting. So, okay, here's Cortez's big jump over the Maya and works his way down, and then finally starts to make his roads inland to Tenochtitlan. And about, I think your book says, 4 kilometers before he gets there, he's greeted on the coast, but then he's actually greeted by the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II. About 4 kilometers outside of the city. How do we know these kinds of things? There are a few accounts, contemporary accounts written at the time, one by one of Cortez's men, Bernal Diaz de Castillo. He's eventually appointed one of the first kind of rulers of Guatemala. You can see here some of the gifts that were presented to the Spaniards when Moctezuma came out, including an atlatl here, sculpted atlatl. Very cool. So Del Castillo talking about the gifts of gold they were given. When they had delivered these gifts, the Aztecs, the Spaniards appeared to be much glad and contented, delighted. They seized upon the gold as if they were monkeys, their faces gleaming, for clearly their thirst for gold was insatiable. They stayed starved for it. They lusted for it. They wanted to stuff themselves with it as if they were pigs. So they went about fingering, taking up the streamers of gold, moving them back and forth, grabbing them to themselves, babbling, talking gibberish among themselves. All right, greed. That's it for this video. We'll get more into Cortez's journey into Tenochtitlan in the next film. I will see you there.